Picture this. It's Friday afternoon. You're looking forward to the weekend, looking forward to spend time with your children, happy the week is over. And at that moment, when you're putting, work down, transitioning the weekend, you get a text from your soon-to-be ex. And you, against your better judgment, you read it and it activates you. Like, what is going on? I don't want to deal with this. But against your better judgment, why you're angry, why you're upset, you just give it back. You just give back that energy. This is the Getting Divorced Without Losing Your Mind podcast, and I'm Corey Shapiro. And the goal of this podcast is to help you make better decisions now for you and your children's future, so you can have a better divorce. And this episode, we're going to focus on shift number 2, which is a 24-hour pause. And let me tell you a story of what I see in my day job as a divorce lawyer. Been doing this for almost 25 years, where a lot of people who are starting the process have this toxic exchange of text messaging. Really what I look at when they show me the text messages is the time frame. And it's usually like a text message, and then it's like a minute later, and then like there's like 10 responses within an hour. And I'm just like, hard to stop them. And I'm just trying to figure out what's really going on here. And I asked them, how is that serving you? Doing these exchanges. And they're like, it's not. It just de-escalates. We just get into arguments. There's a cost to that in a divorce. Because these text messages, if things go south, are going to become Exhibit A. They're going to be shown to the court, and they're going to be twisted by certain type of attorneys to show that you have poor judgment. So let me put my lawyer hat on for a moment so you can think about this in a different way. Remember, these text messages that aggravate you, stress you out, first of all, we talked about boundaries. We just did an episode on boundaries. The idea is you want to filter when this information comes to you. That's step 1. And then the shift 2 is now you want to shift when you respond to this information. And I've never seen in all my years, any text message exchange with 2 angry people that are just back and forth that has been productive. So what I want you to do is slow it down. And that's why I came up with the 24-hour pause. And what that means is when they text you something that's activating, something that makes you emotional, something that stresses you out, you don't respond. You wait 24 hours. Okay. Now, how to do this? Because I know it's hard. I know it's hard in the beginning. It's sort of like a compulsion not to look at your emails in the morning and to focus on things that you need to do on your agenda before dealing with other people's agenda. And isn't just an email inbox other people's agenda. And you need to focus on things that are important for you and your work, not other people taking over, what's important to you to do this morning. It's the same idea here. So there's a compulsion to respond. I appreciate that. But here's the thing. I want you to realize that when you're in a difficult divorce, you have to start being very tactical. And that's why you're hiring your lawyer, giving you good information, giving you good advice to change things. So I'm going to give it to you here for free. I want you to spend that 24 hours so you can respond in a better way. And I think the 24 hours is important so you can sleep on it. That's really why, because I think after you sleep on things, your perspective is going to change. I know what you might be thinking. Well, there might be an emergency. Well, I didn't say you didn't have to read it. You could read it once you do a boundary and you set a schedule when you can read it. I just said you didn't have to respond. You can decide. If it's an emergency, obviously we deal with it. But a lot of times these emergencies, which I'm going to put in quotes, they put time deadlines. They create noise. They're not real emergencies. Okay? So that's the key. Another thing you might want to think about is, well, listen, with AI, I can just write in a very nice way back, and I don't need to wait 24 hours. That 24-hour rule doesn't make sense anymore, Corey. Well, listen, our nervous system has been developed over millions of years. AI has been here just a few years. And even if you can rewrite it in a way that is acceptable to the court, I still think it's garbage in, garbage out. And you need to process it in a different way. And maybe if you waited more time, you would then have a very different response, even if the response that you give initially will be neutral. I know what you're also thinking. If you don't respond, they're going to keep texting. Oh, if they do that, that is great. That shows you that you're changing the pattern. That shows you that you're evolving, because they're not evolving. They want your response. It's like a codependency situation. So if they're texting and you're not responding and it's not an emergency, and that is, to me, that is great for you, because you have now control. And that's what you're going to need in your divorce. You're going to need control to act tactically, not just reactively. All right, so what's my core message? Quick reactions, especially when you're triggered, they're not going to serve you. I want you to put your thinking brain on. That comes back online after giving it some space. 24 hours. You might need a week. You might need a week. You might need a month. At least 24 hours. Remember that. All right, so for my action step, I want you to pick one exchange this week that's emotional for you. Maybe you can't start with your soon-to-be ex because that's too difficult, although I want you to. But start with something and don't respond right away if you're emotional. Could come from your parents, whatever it is. I prefer you do it right in the fire. Deal with it with your soon-to-be ex and build that muscle. But if you can't, and you're like, oh, Corey, this is so hard this week, here's my little cheat for you. Just say, let me think about this. I'll get back to you soon. Let me think about this. I'll get back to you soon. That's what high-end attorneys do when you send a settlement they don't like. Thank you for your email. Let me review this with my client, and we'll get back to you soon. Soon does not mean that day or even tomorrow. Soon can mean 2 weeks, by the way. All right, I know this is hard work, but this is the work that changes everything. And next episode, we're going to focus on mental distancing. How to stop that ruminating, which is focusing on the past, on negative, and start focusing on the future, on your vision, on where you want to go. I'm Corey Shapiro. Let's step forward with clarity together.
This podcast offers general information only. It cannot replace legal advice. If you need tailored advice, contact an attorney licensed to practice in your area.